Yo, what's going on, y'all? This your boy Teddy B Black, man. I know it's been a while. But got something I do annually, and I know I ain't been doing like the reactions or nothing lately, but I'm gonna stick to this one or whatever. And basically gonna be talking about the Boston Celtics 2022-2023 NBA season, which just ended a few minutes ago at the hands of the Miami Heat in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Just giving my overall thoughts of like everything that went down, and I'm not gonna keep it long winded. Normally these Jones be like 40 minutes, 45 minutes, man. I'm gonna give y'all 10, 15 minutes, 15 minutes max probably. Um, so I think overall I think the Boston Celtics have to break this team up. I was thinking this last year, but I kind of let other people talk me into like the whole idea of running it back. You know what I'm saying? And it seemed like it could work, but this team is just constructed. Honestly, the team is just constructed poorly, and it's a lot of things that play into it. Like I said, I ain't gonna be too long winded, but I'm gonna get into it. I feel like the core of Marcus Smart, Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, I feel like it's ran its course. It's been about 6 years now. I know Horford went away for a season or whatever and then came back. But it's been like 6 years now. And this is what we're getting. We're getting a perennial Eastern Conference team. I know they went to the finals last year, but if they would have made it this year, I probably would have felt a little different. But they didn't. They capped out at the Eastern Conference Finals again, which is, I think, Boston's fifth trip in the last 7 years. So now we have to, be logical here, take this sample size, and basically we have to build something new. The definition of insanity, at least what people tell me, is trying the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. We've been trying this lineup for 6 years. It's gotten to the Eastern Conference Finals 5 out of the 7 years, last 7 years. There was one de facto year. I think Jalen Brown and Marcus Smart was there, but this was before Tatum and Horford, respectively. Um, it's just time, man. It's just time. I really feel like for the type of basketball that the Celtics try to play, this whole we're going to try to get up 100 threes, and they want to be the Golden State Warriors without the sharp shooting prowess of the Golden State Warriors. We don't have a Steph Curry. We don't have a Klay Thompson. If people want to include Jordan Poole in that, me personally, I'm not going to do it, but Jordan Poole, maybe a Wiggins, and the litany of shooters that Golden State's had over the years, Kevin Durant and all those type of stuff. We don't have that. So the philosophy is bad to begin with. Speaking of bad philosophies, the Celtics are super poor, like fundamentally. They don't do the fundamental stuff right. They don't make clean. All the passes are difficult passes. They could be standing 3 feet from each other, and somehow, some way, somebody's going to steal the ball. They miss layups, so many missed layups. They play it off by crying for fouls and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, man, nobody's, bro. Get a bucket, bro. You getting $200-300 million? Get a bucket, bro. You crying for fouls after you miss a layup, and then you miss a wide open layup, dunks, air ball and mid ranges, air ball and threes. Just the basic basketball IQ is just super low, and it hasn't always been like that. Which is, I'm gonna bring it back full circle to explain what I think is really going on. Um, Also, the two stars are inconsistent. Now, Jason Tatum made All NBA first team. Jalen Brown made All NBA second team. I would be completely shocked, 1,000%, if Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown are teammates next season. I'm now. People was calling me a casual fan last summer because I was on the side of people saying that we should have traded Jalen Brown for Kevin Durant. I firmly stand beside that, and then I flip flop to the other side because I let a lot of the Celtics fans talk me into, you know, the Jalen Brown thing. So after this season, obviously Kevin Durant's been shipped to Phoenix, so I know we can't get him. I don't know what other stars are going to pop free or pop available. This just isn't. This just isn't a good spot for Jalen Brown. This may just be me speaking out of frustration and anger. I know it doesn't sound like I'm frustrated and angry, but I am. Bro, Jalen Brown might be one of the most selfish players I might have ever seen in my life in the NBA. There's a clip, there's a thumbnail that went viral. I think it was from game 4 or 5, one of them, where Jalen Brown is literally driving on all 5 Heat players and decides to put up a shot. And tonight is always the same. Every time Jalen Brown drives, it's a turnover. He has no handles. He's selfish. He takes super bad shots. He's not playing a tenacious defense. He folds under pressure all the time. He doesn't. Tatum rolls his ankle the very first play of the game. And Jalen Brown, who's an all-star, second team All-NBA, can't really give you nothing. You know what I'm saying? Of course, he gave us 19 points or whatever, but that's nothing compared to what you should have been able to do. I don't think 19 points is worth $300 million. When you have, and I'm so glad we play the Heat, so I can use them as comparisons. When you literally have all these undrafted players on the other team, Caleb Martin is literally getting pennies to the dollar on his contract, and just put up 30 points. the fourth or fifth, sixth option of a team just dropped 30. Once you include Jimmy Butler and Gabe Vincent, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, who was hurt, didn't play. Then you get to Caleb Martin, bro. It's like ridiculous. You refuse to play defense on these guys. You refuse to really just show any grit and effort. You had to be down 0-3 to show grit and effort. And the only reason I'm not really like too down in the dumps is because now I know we got Brad Stevens. And Brad Stevens coached this team. And he knew what the problem was. And so when he left coaching, he stepped down and became the president of basketball operations, or the GM, or whatever the Celtics called their position. It's not anybody new coming in that's not going to know what the problem is. Brad Stevens knows what the problem is. I know he's been trying to hang on to this core for as long as he wants. These are his guys. Good old Marcus Smart and Al Horford and stuff like that. Brad, it's over. It's over, Brad. The rumors are already swirling on Twitter. Jalen Brown for Damian Lillard. Me personally, I would have preferred KD. But in the grand scheme of things, the Boston Celtics' top priority this offseason has to be a playmaking point guard. Has to be a playmaking point guard. I'm not saying we should get this person because they're old, but somebody like a Chris Paul. Not Chris Paul, but somebody like a Chris Paul. You know what I'm saying? And it just has to be that. You know what I mean? Al Horford, he's about to turn 40. It's over. Got into it with the media person in the Philly, one of those Philly games, about being the elite shooter, and he's been awful ever since. The team is a good front running team. If they're up, they're bashful, they're boastful, they brag a lot, blah blah blah. When they're down, they make excuses. Which brings me to my next point. And this is a very, very immature team. Very immature, bro. Gotta grow up. I feel like this is not Brad Stevens' fault because it's only his second season as GM. This is doing Danny Ainge right here. Danny Ainge bailed on those veterans way too fast. The Jay Crowders and the Marcus Morris. Um, the guys that were good locker room presence, the tough guys that would not take no shit or nothing like that, and then would just play basketball the way that it's meant to be played. You know what I'm saying? Not in at the best people on the team, but you can learn from them. You get tougher from them. You get rid of all these guys, and now Brown and Tatum are being coddled, and now they feel like they can't do no wrong. And now you're stunting development and growth. Because if you look at these guys, they play the exact same way as they played last year. They just flip flop. Tatum led the postseason in turnovers last year. This year is Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown was second last year. Now he's number one. You know what I'm saying? And you just can't have that. But I feel like it's too late because they're already set in their ways, which is why I think it's time to break the core up. You know what I'm saying? If it was a case where everybody was playing pretty good and it was one or two bad apples, I would be like, you could tweak the roster. But it's everybody, bro. From the Marcus Smart taking these ill-advised shots. Al Horford can't hit a three and then he's ill-advised fouls and people easily driving past him. He can't keep up no more. Is it Robert Williams? I don't know if he's going to go, but he's always hurt. And then when he's not hurt, he is a great player. You know what I'm saying? Derek White's been awesome. Malcolm Brogdon, I was so high on Malcolm Brogdon, but the more the pressure got on, the bigger the game. Malcolm Brogdon disappeared, bro. This might not be for him. These type of moments, you need a closer, and we don't have a closer. We get rattled and we fold under pressure, and which is what we did. So, I'm just expecting moves, man. Like I said, I'm not too high right now, not too low. When you and I go back and forth on Twitter so much, when you see people with bad habits, no matter what, the bad habits will catch up to you eventually. They always do. You know what I'm saying? The Celtics have so many bad habits, and they would just rely on their talent to get them through it. But when you get this deep in the playoffs, you can't do that. You're going up against a Heat culture where they have a bunch of good habits, which is why they tend to win more than they lose. You know what I'm saying? Why they beat you 4 times out of 3. Well, 4 times out of 7, my bad. So, like I said, I'm not going to get too long-winded. I'm already at 13 minutes. Get out a couple minutes so we can get up out of here. Tatum has to get better, man. All this good one game and then disappear for another game, that has to be out the window because you set the tone for the team. If the top dog is inconsistent, the team's going to be inconsistent. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Brown, I think I'm completely out on Jalen Brown. I wouldn't, that $300 million that he's set to do, I would do a sign and trade. Get a bunch of role players if you have to. Maybe go get Dame Lillard. That's what they're talking about. I have no idea what's going to happen, but something needs to happen. I'm even open for a full rebuild. I know it sounds crazy. If they want to trade Brown and Tatum and just start this shit over, I'm even for that. But as long as people competing, because that's what I'm looking at. I don't mind losing if you're competing. We're losing and we're not competing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was 4. Yeah, we won 3 in a row and, had a chance to make history and stuff like that. But the bad habits quickly seep back in. And this is a culture thing. So I just feel like it's time for a fresh start. Yeah, that's my thought on this season. It's definitely a failure. Title aspirations, just too many boneheaded plays and low IQ basketball. They started out like 0 for 15 from 3 and just kept shooting them. Like nobody besides Derek White would step inside the line and shoot a dang mid-range or a layup. Just keep chucking threes, and that's not smart. They're not smart, and that's on coaching. That's on You know what? I'm not gonna blame the coach because Now I haven't heard Joe Mazzulla, who is the current coach. I haven't heard him say stop shooting threes, but I've heard Brad Stevens tell these guys to stop shooting threes. I've heard Ime Udoka tell these guys that if the three not falling, the go to the basket, and they don't listen. So I'm not gonna blame the coach. I changed my mind. I'm not gonna blame the coach. I'm gonna leave it here. You know what I'm saying? Um, I just feel like it's time for a new start. For my fellow Celtics fans or anybody, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about this season. This is crazy, but congrats to the Heat, man. It's gonna be the Heat and Nuggets in the finals, and yeah.